Hi, my name is Katie, and I am the driver for the session, and I'm here with my navigator.
Hey, this is Endo of the Navigator session.
Cool. So today we are going over chapter 8, which is about extracting information by grouping and summarizing. So I am going to go briefly over what we've learned today, like the query commands, and just explaining what it does. So let us begin. Um, so here we are using a count command. Um, so what is a count command? So it's a way to count how many rows there are in a table. And as you can see over here, we use the count with an asterisk. So basically, what this means is the asterisk just means count everything whether or not the values are missing. And it's the easiest way to check if your data is imported correctly. And then moving on, we are going down to finding the maximum and minimum values using max and min. So what are max and min? So basically max finds the largest value in the column, and then minimum finds the smallest value in the column. And then both ignore the nulls, the empty cells by default. And then moving on, we have our next one, which is group by. So basically, sorry. So basically, what does group by do? It organizes the data into groups based on values in one or more columns. And once it's grouped, we can run the aggregate functions like the count, the sum, the average, the maximum, and the minimum. And then moving on, we have combining group by with count. So what it means is group by just tells SQL to split the data into groups based on the column's value, and the count just tells SQL to count how many rows are in each group. So I went through all that. Now there is an activity that we are going to do. I've already done it, so I'll just be explaining what I've done to get to the final output. So number one, we saw that the library visits have declined recently in most places, but what is the pattern in the use of technology in libraries? In 2014 and in 2009, library survey tables contain the columns GB terms, the number of internet connected computers used by the public, and the puts user users of public internet computers per year. This just modifies the code in listing 8.13 to calculate the percentage change in the sum of each column over time. Watch out for the negative values. So over here in my SQL, I have done it already, so I am just going to explain what has been done. So first off, let me go over here and explain. Um, here we created the summary table. So the Tech 2009 sums up the GB terms in the PITS user from 2009 survey. And then the Tech 2014 does the same for the 2014 survey. And then over here, we are calculating the percentage change. So for each column, it subtracts 2009's total from 2014's total, which gives the difference. And then it divides the difference by 2009's total and it gives the percentage change. Then finally it runs the result to two decimal places using the round method. So if the result is positive, the usage increased. Like for example, the more internet computers or more people use them, and if it's negative, the usage went down. So I have ran it already. As you can see, the GP terms is positive and the plus user percentage is negative. Moving on, we are going to number 2. Sorry, my laptop is slow. So over here by number 2, both library survey tables contain a column called Overreg, A2 teacher Bureau of Economic Analysis code that classifies each library agency according to the region of the United States, such as New England, Rocky Mountains, and so on. Just as we calculate the percentage change in visits group by state, do the same to group percent changes in visits by the US region using the Overreg. Consult the survey documentation to find the meaning of each region code. For a bonus challenge, create a table with the override code is the primary key and the region name is a text, and join it to the summary query to group the region name rather than the code. So over here we have done that as well. Let me just find it. Okay, so over here. So here we are grouping by the override and calculate the percentage change in the visit antigen. So here we're just comparing how many library visit number changed from 2009 and 2014 region by region. So visits 2009 groups the 2009 data by override the region code and then sums the visits, and then the visits for 2014 does the same. Then we join both summaries, matches the same override regions from both years, and then we calculate the percentage change. So 2014 visits minus the 2009 visits, divided by 2009 visits, times 100, um, then round it off to two decimal places as we have done there. And then here we are just ordering it by descending order. And this just shows the biggest increase or drops first. So the query just has to see which region gained or lost food traffic in libraries. So let me run that. As we can see over here. Moving on, we are moving to question number 3. So number 3, thinking back to the types of joins you learned in chapter 6, which join type will show you all the rows in the tables, including those without the match. Write a query and add and is now filtered in where a clause to show agencies is not included in one or the other table. So let me explain there. Okay. So over here we are finding the unmatched agencies in either year. So here we're looking for the library agencies that exist in one year, but not the other. So closures, new opening, or data gaps. So full outer join combines all the rows from both tables, matching the FS key library ID, and then the courses library name shows the library name using whichever year has the information, and then where is now filter. That just keeps a row where the FS key is missing in one of the tables. So if the FS key 2009 is now, the library is only in 2014, and if the FS key 2014 is now, that is for 2009 libraries only. So this just reveals the outliers library that one surveyed in both years. So I'm just going to run it and we will see. So here are all the libraries. It's a lot of libraries that have been joined as well. But there we have the output. And that is it for chapter 8. Thank you for watching.